Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Mike, and it's time for another chapter of Genre Files. Today we're doing animated films, and I've decided to talk about a film that was directed by Richard Linklater. It's called A Scanner Darkly. It came out in 2006. Now, I don't own the film. I did at one time. A couple of years ago, I found it in a pawn shop, and I'd never heard of it, but I decided to buy it because I had previously seen this Richard Linklater film called Waking Life. Which is a film that was done with a technique called rotoscoping, which I can't even begin to explain, but they actually make a film with real-life actors, and then they somehow work on it and they make it into an animated film using the forms and the facial features of the actors. And it's beautiful to look at. The way everything in the film just vibrates constantly. There's constant movement and color, and it's really nice. And I actually fell in love with this movie. Went in to see it by accident. I went to the art theater to see another movie, and I got my schedule mixed up, and I ended up seeing this start. I thought, oh great, a cartoon. It's just what I need. So I decided to just give it about a few minutes to see what it was like, and it very quickly pulled me in. I just fell in love with it. So a few years down the road, when I happened to be in a pawn shop and I found A Scanner Darkly on the shelf, having never heard of it, but I saw that it was another Richard Linklater film done in rotoscoping, and I just thought, great, this is going to be a lot of fun. Stars Keanu Reeves, Robert Downey Jr., Winona Ryder, and Woody Harrelson, and it's a futuristic science fiction film about the United States. I'm babbling like crazy. 20% of the American population has become addicted to a drug called Substance D, and the government has lost the war on drugs, and they've started to have these underground surveillance things going on. They're watching people in their homes. They're trying to find out who's supplying this drug. They have an underground network of informants and agents, and Keanu Reeves, his character is one of these, and he's actually living with two guys played by Harrelson and Downey who are addicted to the drug. He's trying to find out who the supplier is, and he's also involved with a young woman named Donna, played by Winona Ryder, and he's developing romantic feelings for her. During the process of his living with his people and investigating, he himself becomes addicted to the drug. And it goes on from there. The story is actually very convoluted. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this now is because I saw this a couple of weeks ago in one of my film class that I'm taking now. And when I watched it before at home a couple of years ago, I was very excited about seeing it, but I fell right to sleep. I don't know if it was the movie or me just being too relaxed at that particular time, but it just was a real snoozer. But I did end up watching the whole thing all the way through. Wasn't that crazy about it, so I had no qualms about giving it away when I was sort of weeding out my collection. And so I saw it again in my film class, and this time I was wide awake, and I watched it all the way through and paid attention, and I found myself being more interested in the story, even though it was hard to understand. I thought that the rotoscoping technique, beautiful as it was, and beautifully done, was very distracting, and I just saw very little advantage to doing the rotoscoping when they just could have made a straight film with all these good actors. And I think I would have appreciated it if it had just been done in real life. So my feelings about A Scanner Darkly, the film, are somewhat negative, but it did encourage me to go out and buy the book. This is a novel by Philip K. Dick, 1977. Now, I didn't know anything about this guy at all. Of course, he's the guy who wrote the novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is the basis for Blade Runner. I'm not a big fan of Blade Runner, so I never really cared that much about it. But the film class instructor was talking about this guy and how prolific he was at writing. I had no idea that he had written so many novels. So he was talking about the book, and he was saying, good luck reading the book, because I had a very hard time with it. But it made me decide to go out and buy the book. I think I would rather get into the story and give that a chance rather than watch the film again. So haven't started yet because I'm in the middle of another book, but I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like. I guess that's all I have to say. I thought I would just do something a little bit different today and talk about a film that I didn't particularly like, but it's led me into maybe exploring an author that might be a whole new direction to go in. I'm looking forward to it. So let me know what you think of A Scanner Darkly, and if you've read any novels by this guy, and if you know something about him, because I'm just now learning. Okay? Comments are welcome.